everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have another astrology oracle reading for you today. Let's get these cards laid out. I also have my natal chart pulled up for this reading. I am using Dayton, Ohio at 11:11 a.m. If you're curious at taking a look at the chart that I'm looking at, this has the Aries sun, of course, because it is the Aries solar season. And this particular chart also has a Taurus moon, a favorite of mine, as well as Gemini rising. I have so many Taurus moons in my life, it's crazy. My dad, my husband, like 4 of my best friends, one of my best friend's boyfriends. I feel like I'm always meeting Taurus moons too. So if you have a Taurus moon placement, leave a comment below. I would love to know. All right. And of course, I will be using the Black Moon Astrology Oracle deck from Susan Shepard. I picked this up about 2 years ago, I believe, at a psychic convention here in Dayton. And I was immediately drawn to this. I was looking for something that would complement my tarot readings, and what would be better than astrology oracle deck, right? So each of these cards features either a zodiac sign, a planet, different aspects, all different kinds of things related to astrology. And then I'll just see which of these cards is going to catch my eye, reference that to the chart, and get into it. So usually when I'm looking for a card to pull, I'm looking for something either at like an obscure angle or just something that catches my eye, basically. I am really looking at this top card though, and it's the air element of communicating. Love that, since that's exactly what I'm doing with you all right here, right now. The air elements are Gemini, the rising sign of this chart, Libra, and Aquarius, where we currently have a stellium of Mars, Saturn, and Venus. I did talk a lot about that energy in Aquarius in last week's video, so if you want to learn more about that, then go ahead and check it out. It's all about the 9th house. So the air element, this is all about communication. This is idea sharing, collaboration, coming together all around ideas. And the important thing here too is that these are objectively positive, objectively beneficial ideas. These are not things that serve the individual. These are not feelings and opinions. These are the greater good, you know, and the air signs really have that quality to them. The air elements have that quality to them of being about the greater good. And it really makes sense when we look at the individual archetypes of each of those air sign zodiacs. So like, for example, Aquarius, which I got into again a lot last week, this is a sign that is known for its humanitarianism. Libra is known for its social justice, and Gemini is known as the twins, and this represents sort of the light and the dark, the duality of life. And all of these things are very objective and are very beneficial to the collective and not just the individual. I feel with the air signs, more so than, let's say, the fire signs, there is a huge focus on collective benefit, of collective awareness. And, you know, within all of that, and when you're working with groups of people and multiple people, then there is a need to communicate. There's a need to establish, you know, not only boundaries, but, you know, sort of a repertoire and a language to use. And I very much consider astrology a language. So, you know, just fun to have the air sign pop up today. So I've already mentioned, but I will say again, we do have a Gemini rising of this chart, and we have a stellium in Aquarius. However, we do not have any signs in Libra at this time. We do not have, any planets in Libra at this time. And we won't for a while, until we experience a full moon towards the middle of this month, April 16th, I believe. We have a full moon in Libra, and that is made possible because the moon will be exactly opposite to the sun, and Libra is opposite to Aries in the zodiacal calendar. And although we don't have any planets currently in the sign of Libra, I do always like to look at those empty houses as a way of balancing a concentration of energy from really, really stacked houses. And because we have Chiron, the Sun, and Mercury all in Aries right now, you know, there is kind of a need to balance out that energy. Chiron is the wounded healer. The Sun is our ego and self-expression, sort of like how we fill the room. And then Mercury, of course, is communication and idea sharing, coming together with people over ideas and exchanges. Very much air element things, because one of the zodiac signs associated with Mercury, the planet, is Gemini, the air sign. Another one is Virgo. So when we're looking at all this massive concentration of Aries energy happening right now, and in this particular chart, it's happening in the 11th house. This is actually a house that is associated with an air sign. It's associated with Aquarius and Uranus. And this is all about social systems. This is your peers on a grand scale. So whereas the 3rd house is kind of like your bestie and like those friends that you consider family, the 11th house is more like your graduating class, like the people you went to school with, maybe not so personal. So much energy is happening in that 11th house in this chart. And what I like to do to balance that is to go to the opposite, which in this case would be the air sign Libra. And this is ruling the 5th house in this chart. So the 5th house is creativity, it's passion, it's procreation. The signifiers of this are the Sun and Leo. And so if you're feeling really just burdened, I guess, by the presence of Chiron right next to the Sun and Mercury, which is reminding us of our old wounds in many ways, then a good way to work through that is to get creative. And that's what the 5th house is all about. Because we're dealing with the air signs and communicating though, I would maybe suggest going into a creative wordplay. So this could be poetry, it could be songwriting, it could be, you know, just expanding your vocabulary to discuss your feelings with unique and different words. So if you're so used to saying that you're feeling sad or depressed, or that you're so used to saying that you feel complacent or distant, you know, maybe mixing up the vocabulary to expand, you know, and get a little bit more broad with what it is that you are trying to share with the world, whether that is with a YouTube channel like I'm doing now, communicating with your best friend, or even a therapist. You know, just really expanding your communication capabilities is a great idea right now, especially again if you are being very activated by all of those planets happening in Aries right now. Another thing with the air signs is that they're really focused on bringing people together through ideas. And I think one of the biggest deterrents to people coming together is that they're either not communicating objectively or they're not communicating truthfully. And Libra especially is very focused on truth. So if there's someone who you need to share news with or be honest about something, or maybe, you know, you're hoping someone will be honest about their feelings with you, this is a great week to get into that. You know, write your best friend a letter, write your grandma a letter. My grandma used to love when I would write her letters. If you need to send somebody an email, if you've been kind of lacking in your inbox, or even if you're just thinking of somebody and you just want to let them know, like, hey, you're on my mind. This is a great week to just communicate, just get it out there. You know, we, with that full moon coming up here in about 12 days, there is going to be a need to release. That's what full moons are all about. And this is kind of, in my opinion, setting us up for that, right? So if you have to have a conversation about something that's difficult in whatever capacity that you need to have that conversation, maybe use this week to practice. Or if you're getting ready to purge something from your life, you know, this would be a really great week to just get into your journal and start talking about what's going on inside, you know? And you don't need to be sharing that with anyone if you don't want to, but it's always better to just get it out, and get it out on paper, get it out, you know, onto a digital diary if you need to. But when we see the air element and that mantra of communication, it's a really great signal to not keep things bottled up inside. And, you know, we currently, with the Aquarian energy I mentioned, which you can learn more about from last week's video, we do have an exact conjunction this week, actually today, it's exactly today, 22 degrees for Mars and Saturn, both in Aquarius. So Mars is like, go, 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 say it, get it done, do blah, blah, blah. And, you know, Saturn's like, pump the brakes there. Like, let's pull back a little bit. So there is kind of a feeling of like wanting to move ahead, but also not being so sure about it. And this is, again, just a great week for processing. Process your feelings, process what it is that you're going through. You know, if you're thinking of someone that you love, tell them that. You know, if you need to share a secret with someone, or if you need to tell someone that you're not willing to keep their secrets anymore, whatever it is that you need to communicate, this card is saying, by all means, my love, go out there and do it. Now, I am going to grab a couple excerpts really quickly from my handy dandy little book here to discuss the air element with you all. When the air element card presents itself in a reading, it's time to put into words what you want, what you desire, and what you expect. Which is exactly what I'm saying. You know, really, it's great to have ideas, but when you share those ideas, they become bigger. They become more than just yourself. And when someone shares an idea with you, you get to embody that and then go and share that with the world. So if you have a message that needs to be shared, if you need to tell someone something, if you need to even be honest with yourself about something, then use the elements of air and push forward and go out there and breathe life into that conversation. So I would love to know what you all think. Please leave a comment. Does this resonate for you? Is there a conversation with yourself or with a loved one that's really needing to happen? Yeah, I'd love some feedback on what this reading meant for you all. Thank you again for tuning in and being a part of this project. I will be back again next week with another reading. And in the meantime, take care of yourself, take care of everyone else, and be kind. And I'm sending you all so much love, like the good Libra Sun, Aquarius Moon I am. So thank you again for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.